Concacaf Nations League Thursday. The U.S. men's national team against Trinidad and Tobago. That's at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 Pacific. You can catch that on TNT, and a lot of expectations, and the expectations are getting higher, and they're expecting more from you. And now if you have a certain little drop-off, now there's something wrong. That's the world of the U.S. men's national team now, no?
Yeah, absolutely. They're expected to do big things.
And in expecting those big things, one of the gentlemen that expects bigger things moving forward is definitely Jimmy Conrad. We're going to give him the bienvenida into Scoreline. And Jimmy, first and foremost, I got to tell you, you and I are both graduates. We're alumni of the San Diego Flash. I started off with the Flash.
No way.
Joe Cannon. When you guys get discovered there by, or obviously sent by Wilhelms to Brian Quinn, and the rest is history for you. I was right there, lowly getting paid $51 to call those games at Southwestern College, hermano. How you like that?
It's great to see you once again. Those were fun times. Actually, when I harken back to like my career overall, that's my favorite year as a professional because I didn't know if I was going to make it or not, right? So you're barely making any money. You're sleeping on floors, eating ramen and really cheap stuff from 7-Eleven, and you're trying to make it work. And you get the opportunity, and now look at us guys. They're getting after it. It's amazing.
It is, and look at that background. That says everything, and congratulations on everything that you've accomplished since then. Now let's get right to it. Cardoso, he's out, ankle injury. He's going to be missing, but just give us a little bit more your impressions as to this situation moving forward into this match against Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, I think what's interesting about the roster overall is the names that aren't on it. Christian Pulisic is out, injured. Pulled up with, I don't know what kind of injury. He's always got something, unfortunately, with AC Milan recently. Timo Weah is out. He's injured right now, and now Cardoso is going out. And I think as much as I am disappointed not to see Pulisic and Weah, this is a big opportunity for Cardoso because Tyler Adams is also not involved. And I think we actually missed Tyler Adams quite a bit when he played against Germany in the last window. His presence, his mentality, his bite in midfield. And so Cardoso had a big chance here to fill that void and really be maybe the second in command when Tyler Adams is hurt or, step up in that spot. And now Leonard Maloney, who is playing at Heidenheim in the Bundesliga, is getting another call in. So that's pretty interesting for me overall. And then when I don't see a Weah and a Pulisic up top or not available for us, we're maybe not as deep in those areas as we like to think we are. So it'll be interesting to see where we line up Gio Reyna, if we're going to put him centrally. I'd like Malik Tillman actually playing really well for PSV right now to maybe slot into the middle, put Gio out as maybe an inverted winger, double number 10. I'm getting all soccer nerd on everybody, and then maybe Brendan Aronson on the other side. But it's nice. We still have a ton of depth, but maybe not out wingers like Pulisic and Weah.
Yeah, and in fact, we're going to have you break down that roster for us in a minute. Let's start with the keepers. I mean, in Mexico, they are Memo Ochoa, and everybody's like, when is that going to change? When's the next challenge coming? Here, there's no doubt for you in particular, it's Turner.
It's Matt Turner for sure. I think that he's proven that he's our top choice, our number one. If Zach Steffen could get healthy and find regular minutes, then maybe he's back into the conversation. Ethan Horvath obviously has been a good soldier for us as well, making key plays and stepping in when we needed him. I actually am very excited to see Gaga Slonina get a call out. I think he'll eventually go with our U23 Olympic team. They've got 2 friendlies in this window as well, but he's here with the first team. So I find that to be pretty interesting from Greg Berhalter to bring him in and maybe not get minutes with the U23s, but maybe they're looking to see who's going to be his number 2 for that particular competition. But yeah, Matt Turner's our number 1 until proven otherwise. He's been fantastic.
And Jimmy, good to see you, brother. Just wanted to obviously start where you and I know best, the center back position and the defense at large. What are some of the names, or who are some of the names that stick out to you in terms of leaders that need to step up in the absence of a Walker Zimmerman off this list? Tim Ream, obviously the one that we look to first, but who's somebody that doesn't quite jump off the page that you expect to have a good call in and a good round in this qualifying here?
I'll probably start with Cameron Carter-Vickers. Now, to answer your leadership question, I think it's Tim Ream's job until proven otherwise. But there's something about CCV that I really like. He's 25 years old right now, just coming back and getting into match fitness, playing for Celtic in the Scottish Premiership, but just played in the Champions League recently. Now, I know all you Celtic fans, you lost 6-0 to Atleti in Madrid, but you got an early red card and then was just trying to hold on. And Atleti's been fantastic. But I actually thought Cameron Carter-Vickers was very sharp in that particular game, despite the end result. And I want to see him start to really own it. Now, Chris Richards had the opportunity in the last window. I don't think he took it with both hands, and I think that second spot next to Tim Ream is wide open. Now, Tim Ream is a little bit older, so I don't know if we're going to be able to rely on him in 2026, but right now he's our guy until proven otherwise. And then on the outside backs, you got to have Dest, who's been fantastic for PSV, and you have Anthony Robinson on the left side. So CCV and Ream, with those other 2 guys, we're going to be pretty sharp and solid.
And Jimmy, Musa, McKinney, and Tillman, I know they sound like a group of lawyers, but they're going to hold down the law there in the midfield, no?
Yeah, I like Musa McKinney without Tyler Adams. I think if we weren't playing Trinidad, we're going to have more of the ball. We're going to be able to drive the game a little bit more. So having more two-way players in midfield, I think, helps. And then Tillman obviously deserves an opportunity to really show what he can do and maybe drive the game for us and pull the strings. And then, yeah, I guess Gio Reyna, I think there'll be a lot of clamoring for him to play the number 10, but I think Tillman can fill in there, and then Reyna can fill in because Pulisic and Way are out. But I'm pretty happy with this midfield. If we're playing a top 10 team like a Germany, we would want a Tyler Adams in there. I think it gives us better balance, but we don't have that right now, and it's okay because we're playing against Trinidad.
And continuing to move up the pitch, obviously, to the goal scorers who have their names in the lights most of the time. How have you really seen Balogun come into his own under Greg Berhalter? That's the first part of my question. And then the second part, when we stay in that same vein of the attack, what does it mean that both the Aronson brothers are now called into the national team? What does that mean for U.S. soccer?
Well, I think it's a sign that we're taking a look at our whole player pool. I mean, Paxton Aronson's probably the biggest surprise to get called in. He's another U23 eligible player. We'll probably see him in the Olympics in Paris this upcoming summer. So it's more maybe just getting a taste of what he's about, how he's developing at Eintracht Frankfurt. Brendan Aronson, I think, needs to regain that confidence a little bit at Union Berlin, not a regular starter. So maybe he'll get the start in this one and can really drive us forward, moving forward, and in transition in particular. And then with Balogun, for me, the biggest thing with him is getting him the ball in good areas. The guy's a fantastic player. We found our number 9, with all due respect to Ricardo Pepi, who I do like and I think has maybe found a home in that super sub role. Balogun is the guy. So it's just a matter of getting him as many touches as possible, because the more involved he is, the more he's going to get opportunities on goal, and that's what we want.
And Jimmy, just your expectations, looking at that starting at 11, if you were going to just draw it up, what do you need to see from them, and what do you expect, against Trinidad and Tobago, if we're going to just put it on paper here, the way Greg Berhalter's doing it here graphically? Yeah,
well, I love this lineup, by the way. This is what I told producer Fernando to go with here. There's just something you could maybe interchange Tillman out wide and bring Reyna inside if we're starting to really want to see him in that space consistently, and maybe be a little bit more connected centrally with Balogun up top. But when I look at that back line, when I look at that goalkeeper, we're going to be really steady defensively. As long as one of Musa McKinney or Yunus Musa stays, so don't get too stretched out in midfield, we should be fine in handling this Trinidad team. Also, it helps that we're playing game 1 in Austin. We've played 3 games there with the U.S. men's national team. We scored 8 goals and given up 0. What we need, though, is we need a big lead. And if we get a big lead, then the second leg in Trinidad won't be as pivotal, let's say, is probably the right word. And then maybe we can tinker. Maybe we can try a Maloney in midfield. Maybe we can try a Paxton Aronson somewhere. Maybe we can, we can bring Kevin Paredes on the left side. I wouldn't mind seeing what he's about. But for the first one, you got to lock it down. I mean, everything's at stake here. This is a berth for the Concacaf Nations League, and obviously to get into Copa America as well. So there's no messing around, especially in leg number 1.
And who's got the most to prove, in your opinion there, Jimmy, coming into this?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think without Pulisic there, who's going to be the captain, who's going to step up? I think Cameron Carter-Vickers is probably the one in the back line that has the most to prove. Now, maybe Malik Tillman, if he does start, can he take more of those minutes and make more of those opportunities? If Gio starts centrally, can he continue to be someone that's extremely positive in that part of the field and linking up with Balogun? And then outside of that, Brendan Aronson, as I mentioned before, getting more confidence on that side. So I'm kind of curious to see who maybe 1 or 2 choices are for Greg, but I think I've probably got pretty close to that starting 11.
Perfect. And it's always fun to have you, and good running into you again. Puro San Diego Flash, hermano. Thank you.
Vamos. See you guys. Thanks for having me.
Take care.